all of the time that I was an engineer, I always had a feeling that this is not exactly what I want to do. And he asked me to join, and I told him, yes, I would love to, but this time I'm joining not as a developer, I'm joining as a product manager. We got to a point where we said that if we really want to be the place for agencies and freelancers and to really allow them to create any type of website that they want, we must build something dedicated for them. Creators, they don't want to waste their time. And I think the AI tools has enormous role there. Agencies needed to be more flexible and have the ability to expand their services. And there is a huge community of developers, of designers, of marketeers. And this beautiful collaboration really helps them grow and take clients that they couldn't imagine doing by themselves.
Hey everyone, welcome to our newest episode of the Creator Tools Show, where we interview the people who are creating the tools we all use every day and people who are creating the jobs of the future. I'm super honored to have our guest, Michal Bignitz, the VP of Partners at Wix, with us today. Super happy to have you on the show. Welcome to the show, Michal.
Thank you so much. I'm super happy to be here.
I'm super excited to walk through a demo of the new Wix Studio platform. And it's really great that we can do it here live on the Creator Tools Show. So let's dive in.
Amazing. So before we jump into the demo, I want to start with showing you some of the beautiful websites that our agencies and even our own designers team have created on Wix Studio. The first site is by Visual Identity. This is one of the agencies that have been with us for many years now. Is, by the way, also your user. And here you can see how they incorporate their brand, their beautiful brand into the website. Here we have another agency website. And here we can really see all the capabilities that we have in Studio and how they included all of them in their website to show to their clients what they can build with Studio. The next site is a booking site. And they are using our out-of-the-box booking solution that allows the users to book a tour from the site. This website is another beautiful site for e-commerce. They are using our business solutions of Wix stores. You can see here the product. We can see the product page and, of course, the cart. And the last site is a site that was built by our designers. From time to time, we really like to take the design capability that we have and let our designers, build their dream site. So here we took scrolling effect. And this beautiful site is now also a template. So the agencies that are joining the studio can start building a site from this beautiful template. And now we'll move to the demo of the platform itself. We talked about Studio and we said that it's an end-to-end platform. So I'm going to show you the two main areas in Studio, the workspace and the editor. The workspace is where agencies can manage their projects, their sites, their clients, their team, and the editor is the creation platform. So we're going to start from the workspace. And here is the Discover page. This is where agencies can get the latest news on what's happening in Studio, what are the latest features, educational resources, and inspiration. And we'll move to my site. Sites is basically where agencies will spend most of their time. Here's where they manage and edit their sites. They can see who collaborates on their sites and, of course, add team members to work on it. But sites is not the only project that agencies can build with Studio. We also have the ability to build mobile apps or even web apps. So, for example, web development agencies can build web apps for reusable purposes. So they can build an app and use it in different sites that their team is building, and also monetize it and sell it in the app market. In a very similar way, also we have the custom templates. Here, the team, the agency can create a pre-designed templates and use it as a starting point to the next project. Obviously, the entire team can use it. So one designer can build the templates and other can start using and build the project from it. And they can monetize it as well in the marketplace. The next thing that I'm going to show you is the tools that we have in the client experience. So, for example, the client feedback. This is something that the agency can send to their clients to get immediate feedback on their work right on the website itself. So exactly at the point where we want to give the comment. And the client kit. So we talked about the fact that a lot of agencies at the end of the project are handing over the site to their clients, and here they can create an educational kit for them with either tutorials that are made by us, or resources that they want to include, like a brand book or their own tutorial. And this basically a lot of tools that help between the relationship between the partners and their clients. The last section that I want to show you is the earning. Revenue share is something that we have in the studio for every premium site that our partners are building with a studio, and they can earn more revenue from it. And of course, the marketplace, where I can sell my services, get leads, sell templates, and sell my web application. Okay, so now I'm going to move back to sites, and I want to show you how I'm creating the first site. So we'll go back. And there are a few ways to start creating a site. I'm going to start by showing you the studio templates. These are templates that were created by us. And I can either start from a design template or from a wireframe if I just want the structure of the site without the design, and I will bring my own design. Another way for me to start a new site is by templates from the community. So these are beautiful templates that were created by our community, by partners, and they are selling them. Usually these templates would be much more complex. They would have a code or CMS or application as part of the templates. And again, if I'm using one of these templates, probably I would get more capabilities as part of this template. And the next option that I want to show you, and this is how we are going to start, is a black canvas. So I'm going to choose that. And this is the editor, the studio editor. And I chose a black canvas, so everything here is still a white. I have the add panel where I can add elements. I have the inspector panel where I can set the properties of each element. I can add the business solution, the out-of-the-box business solutions, if it's Wix stores, Wix booking, restaurants, events, and many more. We have the CMS for creating collections and database for heavy content websites. And of course, the ability to add code to extend the capabilities of our platform. I can use the IDE within the editor or use an external IDE. And last but not least is the Figma to Studio feature that we recently released, which allows the designers to bring their beautiful designs from Figma to Studio. Okay, so now I want to start with creating a section. The first section that I'm going to create from a pre-designed section. So I'm going to choose a layout and a design that I want to start from. And you can see that when I'm adding it, it already looks good. We have a responsive out of the box. So in all of the breaking points, it's already, behaving and looking good at every breakpoint. And now I just need to customize it to look the way that I want it to look. Again, I think that the use of pre-designed section, it's a great jumpstart. It gives the layout. If I have a layout that I know that I want to use, I can already start using it, and I have a very good starting point. And I only need to adjust the design to look, the way that I want, the brand for my client. We can see here that the grid is columns in desktop, and in mobiles it rows. And one of the principles that we have inside the editor is the cascading principle. So basically I can make changes in the mobile that won't affect tablet and desktop. We can see that. We have the responsive behavior that is already set. And basically, we can see that this section is ready, very efficient. I changed the design, and it's ready for production. Now, I want to show you how I'm creating a section, but from Blend. And again, I want to show you how in a couple of minutes, I get to the desired results that I want, and really getting to the outcome that I want in a very, productive way. So I'm adding an image, and I want to edit it. So I will open the Photo Studio, and this is an editor for images within the Studio editor. Again, I don't need to go outside of the editor to start cropping or remove the background like I did here. everything is within the editor and I can change everything and see how it looks on the spot.
That's amazing.
Yes, and it really makes everything much more efficient and productive. Now I'm going to add a text marquee. This is a trend in the design world. So I want to show you how I'm doing that. Let's change the color. And one of the things, one of the things that we're putting a lot of focus in Studio is the design capabilities. We're keeping an eye on all trends of design, making sure that we bring all the capabilities, that they will be out-of-the-box capabilities inside the Studio editor. Of course, everything you can extend with the advanced capabilities that we have of code, of advanced CSS. But we have tons of design capabilities. Here I added a paragraph, and you can see that I'm using the AI text creator just to speed up the work. I have different options that I can use.
Whoa.
And we talked about it, but we have many tools here with AI that helps, having shortcuts, we can call it, to my creation that really helps speed up my work in areas where, again, I don't want to focus on.
This is incredible. You really thought about everything.
We try. It's not us. I told you, it's our partners, our users. They build this with us. So you can see that it already looks really good. I just have this overlap of the text, so I'm going to stack it. And you can see that everything is also super intuitive, right? It's also make my process of creation much more efficient. And I think that this is the power of the Studio editor. The fact that everything is out of the box and I can use the capabilities that Wix offers me, and we have tons of capabilities both in design and business, but at the same time I have the flexibility of extending each of the things that I want to extend and to have as a more advanced, again, either with code, with CSS, with pixel editing. And this is, I think, the power of the platform, this flexibility.
That's incredible. Like, you really can just channel creativity directly into the product and just spin up your vision so easily. And also, kudos to you. You're like a pro user at your own product. I love that.
I think that this is another tip that I can give to our audience. Use your product and use it for real use cases. So from time to time, I'm building real websites for real users, because at the end of the day, if you are not using the product and you don't know it well, you can't feel it.
1000% agree with that. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful product. I love how easy it is to move around, be creative. You have all the different elements that you need, and it's so powerful. The app marketplace, it's just the template marketplace, blank, starting from wireframes. You've really thought about the end-to-end workflow. I think more people need to see this. This is really, really exciting.
So I'm happy that we had this demo. And as you can see, our both two sections are ready.
That is really, really impressive. I think that a lot of our Contra users should know about this. I think it's just a matter of just spreading the word a bit more, because the fact that you have all of that built in, and then the Figma import as well, and then you can basically import from Figma and then do the customizations in Wix if you want.
This is super powerful platform. Agencies and freelancers that started to use it are really likes it.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time, I think, before more and more people discover its true capabilities. So I'd love to hear more about your background as a product leader, how you became the product and the creative leader you are today, and how you think about strategy today in your current role. So I'd love to hear more about your backstory. How did you get into Wix? I know you did a stint at Microsoft. I'd love to just hear from you.
So yes, today I'm the VP of partners here at Wix. I've been at Wix for the last 12 years after several roles as an engineer in different startup companies as well as Microsoft, as you mentioned. And over these last 12 years in my journey here at Wix, I've headed different business groups, building the strategy, setting the vision, taking all of these groups tangible business success. And just to name a few, so I headed the App Market, which is a Wix distribution platform for web apps. I've led the international growth, expanding Wix presence in all of the non-US markets. I've led the product management organization here at the company, so managed around 200 managers that created beautiful products all over Wix. And I think, through my entire time here, my goal and my focus was always driving innovation and growth and making impactful changes within the groups. For the past 4 years, I've been leading the partners division, which is Wix's solution for agencies and partners. This division is responsible for a third of the company's revenue and is growing very fast at a rapid pace. And that's it. As you mentioned, recently we launched Wix Studio. Wix Studio is the ultimate end-to-end platform for agencies and freelancers to build, to manage, in scale, and also to grow as an agency with Wix. And that's basically my story.
That's so cool. Okay, so I want to unpack that a bit because you were an engineer before you were a product leader and before you worked on the strategy side. So I'd love to hear about your background as an engineer and what led you to want to be more of the strategy leadership. What led you to kind of shift into more of the strategic role?
So I think that I started very early on as an engineer. I was part of the intelligence unit 8200 here in Israel. And I started as an engineer there. And, right after the army, I joined a startup company and started my career. And it was like, it was part of what I was doing. I was being engineering during my time at the army. So, this is the first role that I thought of when I entered the startup industry or the high-tech world. But I always knew and I always had a feeling that this is not exactly what I want to do. And my passion was for product and for building the strategy of what we want to do, to listen to the audience, to the users, get to know them and see how we can solve the problems for them. And it's funny that you are asking about it because all of the time that I was an engineer, I was pursuing the product roles. And, it's one of the startups that I worked at. It was one of the founders knew me from the several startups that we worked before together. And he asked me to join. And I told him, yes, I would love to. But this time I'm joining not as a developer, I'm joining as a product manager. And then he said, we are only 4 people at the company. You can do whatever you want. We need you to do all of it. So this is basically how I started. I was speaking with users. I was getting their needs. I crafted the idea around what we want to develop. I developed it. We QA'd it. We tested it. We launched it. And this is how I started.
I love that. It sounds like you really had the drive to influence product from the top down, but seeing it from the bottoms up, like actually being the builder, I think is a pretty powerful place to start. And a lot of times the best product leaders, the best product strategists often are engineers who eventually go into that role. For example, my co-founder and CTO, Gaius, is one of the best product thinkers that I know, and he's also one of the best engineers that I know. So that's super cool. So it sounds like you had to prove yourself as a builder first, and then eventually, that's the beauty of startups, right? Like you're able to dive in and get roles that...
They give you the opportunity. They give you the opportunity to explore.
Exactly. And I think that's amazing. Okay, so fast forward, now you're a product leader. You're in charge of a division that's generating a third of Wix's revenue. That's crazy because Wix is one of the OG website builders. So you're managing this giant product division. What was the kind of creation point or what was the inspiration behind Wix Studio? Because that's a complete rebuild of your core product. That's like a very bold move.
When Wix was found, our mission was to allow anyone to build any type of site. And historically, the audience or the users that came to Wix were self-creators. Users that came and wanted to build a web presence for themselves or for their business. And along the years, we added more and more capabilities and allowed to build a more complex websites. And we started to see professionals joining the platform, building sites for their clients as professionals, agencies and freelancers. And, this audience started to grow. And that we still have the self-creator, and it's obviously still growing audience, but we also saw another audience of professionals who are coming to Wix to build for their clients, and it started to grow more and more. And as you can imagine, these professionals have different needs and different capabilities that they need for themselves and for their clients. So we started to build the features or the tools that they need. And we added more and more capabilities. But at some point, we understood that it's not enough. We felt that it's not enough. We got to a point where we said that if we really want to be the place for agencies and freelancers, the ultimate place for them, and to really allow them to create any type of website that they want for their clients and to manage it in scale. They build hundreds of sites. It's not just about the one site that they are creating. They are building hundreds of sites. They are at the end of the project. Some of them are handing over the project to their clients. They really have other needs. So we got to a point where we said to ourselves, if we want to be the ultimate platform for them, we must build something dedicated for them. And this is exactly what Wix Studio is. Wix Studio is a comprehensive solution, A to Z, for professionals, for agencies and freelancers that builds for others in scale, in an efficient way. They need advanced capabilities to build any type of brief they get from their clients. This is what they can do with the Studio.
That's fascinating. So the actual inspiration behind Wix Studio was the needs of the professionals who are earning a living using Wix. I think that's a pretty big insight because, what we see on Contra is that once people start earning money with a certain tool, the ecosystem around that tool explodes. If you're supporting the livelihood of people who are creatives, people who are, freelancers or agencies who are really pushing creativity out into the world, that's a really, really good place to be. So if I'm understanding correctly, just to play that back, Wix Studio was literally created with freelancers and agencies in mind to solve for that very specific workflow of building professional sites.
Yes, totally. And I would say even more than that. First of all, this is Wix's DNA. This is how we do product management. We solve real problems of real users, of, coming from the community. And when we first thought about Wix Studio, we actually created a group, which we call the Product Insiders. It's a group of partners, of agencies of all kinds from different professions. We have their designers and developers and marketeers. And we crafted the product together. We shared with them our thoughts. We showed them some of our mock-ups. They gave us feedback. We changed some of the things that we've created. We came back with it. So they really built together with us the products for themselves. And, they were a real partner in building this platform. And I think that this is also the reason why, we launched it recently, but we're already getting tons of love from the community and from new agencies and from the agencies that have been working with us for years. And the signs of the platforms are really, really good. And again, I believe, and this is the way that we do product here at Wix is that knowing your users, working with them, solving for them real problems and needs, this is the best way to create products for them.
I love it. And then, you also create super fans along the way with this strategy. It's funny, I think Wix and Contra are pretty similar that way. We have a Contra Insiders group that every single new feature on Contra goes by them first. And we're saying hey, what do you think about this? And then you get that feedback, and ultimately you have a community that develops around your product that has buy-in, that has a voice. And then ultimately the product becomes way better, but you also create those super fans at the same time. I have people on X all the time reaching out saying hey, how can I get my Wix Studio expert badge? I've been using this platform XYZ, and I always say wow, that's pretty powerful. If you have users who are advocating and so interested in your product like that, once again, that's a great sign because that means they're earning a living using your product and you're actually creating quite a lot of change in the world. Okay, so that's pretty amazing. So Wix Studio seems like it's going super well. I'm curious, what trends are you seeing in the creative world and the worlds of freelancers and agencies? What changes are coming? Because we all know that AI is a big thing. we all know that a lot of the things that used to be monetizable today might not be monetizable tomorrow in terms of skills. How are you thinking about kind of this world post AI, and how are you thinking about the creative world post AI?
So I think that it's actually goes hand by hand with what I think is the intent anyway of an agency or a freelancer that builds for clients, and it's being efficient. Okay, deliver what they want to deliver in the highest quality and in the most creative things that they can think of, but still in an efficient way. I call it, and I think, by the way, this is the power of Studio. We can talk about it in a second. But I think that at the end of the day, creators, they want to put their dreams out there. They want to create, the things that they imagine or the thing that they design and bring them to production. But at the same time, they want to be efficient. They don't want to waste their time. They want to invest it where needed. And I think the AI tools has an enormous role there. They can help us speed work where we don't need, to invest time. They can give us a very good starting point, jump start to where we want to start from and bring us to the final line in a much more productive way than we could do by ourselves. So I'm calling it investing time and not wasting time. And I think that, again, this is the power of Studio, of the platform, because there are many ways to be efficient with Studio. If it's the out-of-the-box solutions that we have, with the ability to extend them if needed with code and API and advanced CSS, the AI tools, but again, not to forget the creation freedom that these creators want to have.
I love that idea of investing time versus wasting time. Like, my opinion, and this is an opinion, who knows how this is going to play out, but I think the demand for human creativity is going to explode as all of these kind of like time wasting tasks get automated. All of these things that are maybe like very low level tasks that you'd have to do as a part of the creative process. As a lot of those things become automated, I think the level of creativity and the quality and the bar for creativity is going to skyrocket. All of a sudden, like, standards go way up, and then it's going to require more people who are tastemakers and curators and dreamers, like you said. It's going to give them, I think, superpowers. I love it. Okay, so that's interesting. So you don't think that AI is going to replace us all then?
Maybe someday, but not soon. I don't think that it will happen in the next couple of years.
Okay, do you think it's more than 20 years away or less than 20 years away?
If I would know what would happen in the future, I think that I would be in a different place.
That's a good point. Okay, fair enough. All right, so besides Wix Studio, which is super, super exciting, what other tools are you paying attention to? What other tools out there? It doesn't have to be website builders, but what other tools are you super excited about? They're like, wow, other people should know about this.
I'm looking from my perspective, working with agencies and seeing how they manage their agencies, their client pipeline, and so on. I really like Notion. I've seen some incredible use cases of agencies that are using Notion as a CRM, as a project management tools, as even including automation to send email to their clients. I think that this is a super powerful tool, and it's so advanced that I don't even think that I am familiar with all of the things that you can do there. So I think it's definitely worth checking out. It's super powerful, I think, for agencies and for freelancers that are working on a pipeline and has a lot of clients and have a lot of projects, deadlines.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a power user of Notion as well. Our entire team is, and everything I do, whether it's an idea for a product idea or for like a new division of the company, starts with Notion. So I think that's like really, really powerful. Okay, that's super interesting. And I think that there's even, like, to your point, like, there's so many like new workflows you can do with Notion. I think they have like pretty complex databases now. And then the automations that you can spin out of Notion are pretty crazy. And I think you almost need to have like Notion experts as well to to really get the full potential. And I think a lot of companies are starting to think about it from that perspective. So kind of circling back to like freelancers and agencies, for the longest time, agencies were really big. They would have huge teams, they would have specialists, they would have generalists. What we're seeing internally at Contra is that agencies are actually becoming smaller, and they're creating more of these like specialist teams that are almost like on an as needed basis, almost like these flexible teams where like, hey, I need someone who's really good at 3D, or I need someone who can help me with Wix Studio. I'm curious, how do you see the future makeup of creative teams in general? Like, in your opinion, what trends are you seeing and what predictions do you have in this space?
Yeah, so you asked me about trends before, and this is one of the trends that popped in mind when you asked your previous question, and I definitely, we see the same trend. I think it started a few years back, COVID times, when agencies needed to be more flexible in terms of, the amount of people that they have within their agency, and have the ability to expand their services or expand, the amount of projects they can take, or shrink it if need. And we see more and more agencies that are collaborating with each other. So, for example, my core agency would have 3 designers, but when I need development, more complex, web development, I have the agency that I'm collaborating with, and together we will win this project and, deliver the site or the project. It depends on, on the brief. But we also see the same thing. By the way, we see it also with freelancers, exactly as you said. Like an agency can collaborate with someone who is a, top-notch marketeer. And I think that it's a trend that is going to stay for a while. I actually also think that it makes the professionals much more professionals, because again, they're investing the time in the thing that they are really, really good at, and using the community. And there is a huge community of agencies, of developers, of designers, of marketeer. And this beautiful collaboration really helps them grow and take projects and clients that they couldn't imagine doing by themselves. So I actually see the benefits of it.
Yeah. So it sounds like smaller teams, but more collaboration. So that way that like, it's almost like the rising tide lifts all boats. Even though agencies are now smaller, I feel like projects can be more collaborative, and the needs of projects are getting more collaborative as well, because I think just the number of skills that you need to successfully stand out in today's like kind of like noisy world, like the quality of everything is just getting so high. It's like so much easier. Thanks to tools like Wix Studio, it's so easy to produce something that's really, really beautiful, really, really compelling. But now what are the differentiators? What takes it to the next level? What are the things that really make it stand out? And I think that that's something that I think is going to continue to increase the demand, like I said, for human creativity. So I think the future is bright, even though a lot of people are like kind of fear-mongering that like, oh, AI is going to replace all designers. It's like probably not going to. It's probably going to replace a lot of like the mediocre design tasks that no one wanted to do anyway. But I think we're all going to be able to focus on that like competitive edge. Like, what is the differentiating factor? Like, I just built a site on Wix Studio. Now, how do I level it up like crazy? Recently, the CEO of Procreate, are you familiar with Procreate, by the way? It's like the sketching tool. So recently he launched a video saying, like basically he starts the video with all of these screenshots of users asking like, hey, when are you going to build AI tools into Procreate? And it's like thousands of these like kind of questions. And he starts the video off by saying like, he's like, I hate being in front of the camera. I never like to say these types of things. He's like, but I absolutely hate generative AI. He's like, we will never build generative AI tools into Procreate. Procreate is meant to be a tool that's primarily used by humans. And I was like, wow, that's a crazy stance to take, given that it's so contrarian because everyone else is kind of going the other direction. I'm curious from a strategic point of view, how do you think about generative AI features into Wix Studio? Because on one side, you have all of these, freelancers and agencies who could save that time, who could have a better investment of time. But on the other hand, you don't want to fully replace them, because then the creative possibilities are kind of capped, and all of a sudden you miss out on that human creation and creativity. So how are you thinking about it today?
I think that is exactly as you said before. I think that it's not going to replace them, right? It's going to make their creation and their creativity more placed. The things that are less interested in doing, they will do with AI, and it will free their time to focus more on the things that they love doing, whether it's designing, whether if it's a developer, so, developing the cool stuff and not the essential. So I think that if we look at it like that, it can really reduce the amount of things that today a lot of professionals are doing and they don't really like to do. And it will free their time and will help them put the focus on the areas where they want to, get, crazy with their creation or with their imagination, and give them this unique edge.
Yeah, I totally agree. So it sounds like you will build some features into Wix Studio, and you already have.
We already have a lot of features.
I love it. And so really leveling up the use cases for human creativity sounds like it's the ultimate mission here. So that way, that investment of time is an investment that, pays dividends. And I think that's a really, really great way to think about it. Okay, so, you have accomplished a lot in your career. You are now leading a huge organization. You're making a huge impact on the world. What advice do you have to young leaders today who are just getting started? Because it's a crazy landscape, right? You have AI coming in. You have probably not the best time to apply for an entry-level job. There's probably been better times. So what kind of, advice would you have to young leaders who are coming into the workforce today?
Right. It will sound a cliche, what I will say now, but this is my story. You asked me about it, at the beginning. I think that at the end of the day, when you are doing something that you love and that you are passionate for, everything else will follow. We're able to bring success to what I'm doing in every step that I took. Is because I really love what I'm doing. When I choose to work on something, it's always going to be something that I'm passionate for. When I found out that being an engineer is not my passion, I did what I could in order to move to something that I thought that would be my passion, and it really is. So I think that, at the end of the day, leaders are leaders, and it's something that you are born with, and with the ability to, that people will follow you, and that you will lead them. But you also want to do it in a field, in a place where you have passion for. You will go to sleep with, thoughts on what you can do better. You will wake up with new thoughts, and you will continue to think about it because it's something really important for you.
I love it. Follow your passions, follow your dreams. And it sounds like making a shift like you did from engineering to strategy is just a matter of persistence. And it's just a matter of continuing to put yourself in those positions. So this has been amazing. I really appreciate all the insights you've shared today. That's a wrap for us on the Creator Tool Show. Thanks again for tuning in.